Let us begin. Township meeting, call this meeting to order. May we start off, please, by saluting the nation's flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, thank you for that. Roll call. Carol, let the record show that Supervisors Sivavec, Supervisor Tom Cassiola, Cindy Fisher, Frank Aguizio are in attendance, and Ron Flair is unable to attend. In addition, Township Manager Don Januso, Chief of Police Sean Bukovinsky, Director of Zoning Troy Lucas, Engineers Dan Dizeroff and Cliff Seitz of Gateway Engineers, and the Township Solicitor Gretchen Moore. I do see some new faces in the audience, or I wanted to ask, is anyone here in regards to the school resource officer? Would you show by raising your hands? 2, 3, 4. Very well. In fact, maybe we've modified the schedule, the agenda just a little bit. We had planned on later speaking, but I'd like to move it up. And since the officer's wife is involved, let's handle that right now. But the Chief of Police, on part of his report, if you may give us the overview of the school resource officer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As well as all the board members know, I did bring to their attention that the Superintendent, Mike Daniels, approached me about contacting you guys about adding 2 more full-time school resource officers in Cecil Township. Basically, through our conversation, he would like to have an officer at Hills Elementary School, as well as the Cecil Intermediate School. And he also advised me that he's going to be contacting North Trevane Township as well as Canonsburg. The school resource officers, at this time, we have an agreement based on that agreement that we made a year and a half ago. We would like to continue that agreement. And if you could remember and recall, in 2018, we were being reimbursed $62,700. That goes up each year at 4.5%. 2019 will be at $65,521.50. So I think what they're asking is for the board to discuss this. They're very much interested in getting an answer as soon as possible from you guys to take it back to the school board. Okay.
Sean, did you get anything writing from the school district?
Well, he doesn't have anything in writing at this point because he didn't meet with his board yet. But the writing or the agreement would be the current contract we have. So based upon that current contract, we would be adding, of course, 2 more officers at the same contract rate and agreement we have currently now.
Sean, Mr. Chairman, I'd really like to act on this, but I know you have to address it.
Well, I think that would be appropriate that let's have anyone that has to have any remarks, especially since the officer's wife had her hand up as well. Could you please step to the microphone and let's take a little comments or questions? Or, yeah, please do.
Where am I going?
To the podium and the microphone.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Stokes. Yes, my husband is an officer with Cecil Township. My 2 boys in the front are Connor and Aiden, and they also...
Speak to the mic, you're fine.
If
you hold the microphone, it works a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
They attend Hills Hendersonville Elementary, and the parents of Hills Henderson Elementary, as well as the parents of Calumet Mills School District, and a lot of moms, which are walking in right now, have all asked for a full-time police officer to be at every elementary school, every school in the Calumet Mills School District. As you know, there's one at Muse Elementary, and Hills Hendersonville is probably for the Cecil Township schools, the furthest away from the police department. It's at the very edge of the township, and being that Cecil Township is over 28 square miles, it would take a very long time on an emergency call to get someone to the safety of our children. So we asked that, the children of Muse have this resource officer that not only protects them, but provides additional resources. We asked that our children at Hills have that same safety, protection, and additional resources that these children receive.
Very well. Well said. Anyone else? While she's on her way up, I agree 100%. I've had that question asked of me, and being something we must do for our children.
Michelle Stonemark, 40 North DePauli. The 65,000, Chief, that you said per officer is going to, sorry, Chief. The 65,000 you said per officer, that will be, so we would have the township, the school district, I'm sorry, would reimburse the township for those officers, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so it wouldn't be something that's coming out of the pocket of Cecil Township,
Well, there is some money coming out of the
for the most part, the majority of it.
Correct.
Okay. And what was my other question? Oh, it was just a statement. So I just did a quick search on my phone, and I just wanted to go on the record that since November 1st, I've gotten 4 emails about threats at the schools. High school, elementary school, it doesn't matter. I got 4 emails from the school district talking about threats that happen at our schools. And it's just unacceptable. We have to have officers there.
Very good, thank you. Anyone else? Yes. Just in time. Thank you for coming. Kids all fed and everyone's situated.
Exactly. Kids are in pajamas.
Yeah. Well, you're just showing off now, having them in pajamas already.
Hello.
Go ahead.
So I'm not really sure what I missed coming in a little late, but obviously we're talking about the resource officers
Correct.
for the school. My
Say your
name's
name and address.
Sorry, Lisette Zen, and I'm on the Entry Drive in Canonsburg. So I have a child at Hills Elementary School and here at Cecil Intermediate, and we were just talking on the ride out here how it takes me at least 20 to 30 minutes to get between those schools on a good day. So whenever there's a situation where there's a threat, as we've been hearing how many we've had, and of course the one at Hills hit very close to home, having a child there, it could take such a long time to get from one place to another, no matter where a cop is stationed. And as sad as it is, we just need someone there to help minimize damage if anything could occur. And we just need to really, sorry, I do not public speak at all.
You're doing great.
We really need to have someone there
You're doing great.
to help our children, to protect our children. I'm very appreciative for the drive-bys and all the stops and everything that you guys do now. But, whenever you look at other areas of the community, well, not our community, but other districts and areas that have this protection in place, we just really need to have it. It would just give us such a peace of mind, and I think it would even give everyone a peace of mind knowing that our children are safe.
Very well. Thanks,
That's
Carl.
all. So let's make it happen.
All right.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to add too that I really applaud the school board and the school district for actually taking the bulk of that on. They're asking us to, I think the school district is paying basically for the salary. I think all our costs would end up being benefits and things like that. And if it's something like $20-some thousand on top of that, whatever the chief has those numbers worked out, what it would be impact on our budget, but it is a municipal obligation. We have the police department, and it is our duty to protect our residents, our businesses, and our schools. So technically, we're supposed to be protecting the schools anyway, and with the school district stepping up like this, I think they deserve a lot of credit too. We did one of their meetings that they're spearheading this, and we're just basically cooperating. So I think once Mr. Sivavec finishes with the audience, I think we're going to act on it tonight.
Anyone else from the audience? Have any other comments? Yes, step to the microphone. Name and address.
Darlene Barney, 980 Canonsburg. In addition to the resource officers, would it be a good idea, being that there is money out there from the state, to get metal detectors also in these schools, over and above just the resource officers? And maybe it would help maybe just the intermediate school where some of these threats are coming from. Maybe it's just not necessarily in our school district, but you hear this all the time in Pittsburgh, and it seems to be coming our way. And I'm just thinking that, being that Jason said there is money out there from the governor,
Jason?
or T-Tot, that there is money out there. It might not be such a bad idea to have metal detectors put in our schools.
Can
You're welcome.
I explain what Superintendent Michael Daniels said at a parent council meeting last week about specifically about metal detectors?
And Chief, did you even bring that up, or was that part of your
Can I?
overview?
Yes, actually, we were at the same meeting as a meeting in Boyle Manor.
Please.
She can address it, but he did bring up metal detectors.
So, I attended parent council, which I do on a regular basis anyways, because I also have kids in the district. But Mike Daniels, who's the superintendent, Kenneth Millen, explained that metal detectors create a false sense of security. And he had talked to a number of districts in the area, specifically toward Penn Hills. And he said for a number of reasons. One, the metal detectors are at the door, and there ends up being a backlog of kids. So that creates a safety hazard in and of itself because you have long lines of kids standing outside of the building. He said it also creates a false sense of security because you can't have a metal detector at every single door. And if you've been to the elementary schools, there's multiple entrances to the buildings. So he said, you may have someone come in who's clean, doesn't have a weapon or anything on them, but all it takes is that person walking to the other side of the building, opening a door and letting someone else in. So he said that in speaking to districts in the area that have metal detectors, that they really felt strongly that money could have been well spent in other places and not on that.
Very well. Thank you for the update. Any other comments? Is anyone prepared to make a motion at this time?
I make a motion that we approve a contract, or let me rephrase that. I make a motion that we, as long as Kenneth Millen School District provides a contract that's the same or similar to what we have with Officer Douglas at Muse, that we allow Chief Sean Bakovinsky to hire 2 school resource officers in addition to, or 2 new officers to fill the place of 2 school resource
So
officers.
pending the review of that document as
Yeah,
well.
pending it by Gretchen Marcel.
Okay, second, do you have a second, Tom Cassiola? Discussion? I would like to add too that I recently had conversations with a school resource officer on Saturday, and I was pleased to hear that, yeah, he shed light on the fact that the impact that they're making with the children and changing their minds and their attitudes towards police officers, which is invaluable. So it's not just the money, but those certain things that will be added in developing the relationships and showing our officers the lady, the mom in the back that came to support us, and she thanked the officers for what they're currently doing. I'd like that to be that should be a big part of it as well.
I also like to say too, I see it, I have a unique advantage. I see it, I'm the PTO president at East Elementary. On fitness day, Officer Douglas and Officer Groves were literally running races with the kids.
Nice.
And on Kona Ice Day, they're out there. So it provides, not only does it provide safety and security for the kids, but it also provides them a very positive relationship with law enforcement, which is huge because it makes them, at 6, 7, 8 years old, it makes them comfortable with it. So as they move forward in life, they look at it as a good thing and not as a scary or bad thing.
That's good. Can I ask who won the race? Did Officer Groves?
Not the officers.
Any further discussion on the board? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Carol, allow the record to show 4-0. And approved. You ladies are welcome to leave. Thank you for coming though. I really mean that. Please consider joining any of our various boards as well, or don't be a stranger coming to our meetings or submit your name. And also always be looking for someone that could volunteer for the fire department. You can always use volunteers for the fire department, so thank you.
He's not saying we have to leave, but the meeting's now.
You're welcome to sit for our very exciting meeting.
So at this point, let us address any citizens' comments.